Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello dear learners, welcome to the session of Managing Equality and Diversity. I am Dr. Supriya Jain, working as an Associate Professor at Institute of Management at GLA University, Mathura. In this session, we are going to have a discussion on a very important topic of this particular session, that is personality as well as the individual differences. So if you look at the topics, what are we going to discuss in our session today? We'll start with the understanding of linking individuals to the workplace. Thereafter, we will have a discussion on personality, what it is, what are the different factors which frames the personality of an individual. Thereafter, we will have a discussion on personality frameworks. And lastly, we will discuss on the other attributes of the personalities which are related with the organization behavior. If you look at the learning objectives of the session, by the end you will be able to describe the difference between person job fit as well as person organization fit. You will be able to describe personality, the way it will be measured and what are the factors which affects in shaping the individual's personality. Thereafter, you will be able to describe the strength and weaknesses based on MBTI framework, which is Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and also you will be able to understand the Big 5 personality trait model and dark triad. Finally, you will be able to discuss how the concepts of core self-evaluation, self-monitoring, proactive personality contribute in the understanding of the personality. So let us begin with our discussion how an individual personality creates a difference in the organization and how a behavior of an individual can be predicted based on their personality type. So initially we will talk about person job fit. Person job fit refers to the understanding how much this person is fitting with the job or the assignment which is being given to an individual. As we all know, we have different types of personality, we have different set of traits in individuals, right? So nature of job is also different. We don't have similar natures of job in the organization. So this person job fit is going to make us understand how well the person is fitting with the jobs which are being given to them. So a theory that defines 6 personality type we will be discussing, and they proposes the fit between the personality type as well as their occupational environment determines their satisfaction and turnover. If a person is fitting as per the traits and the job's requirement, then definitely that food would be called as right fit. So here, with the understanding of this Holland typology of personality and congruent occupation will make you this more clear how you will be able to make this person job fit framework. So here you can see we have different types of personality where we have categorized them into 6 parts. We started with realistic personality, then we have some people who have investigative personality, some people are social, they prefer involved with people and helping and developing each others together. Then there are people who are conventional in their nature, who prefer rules, they are very principled people, they prefer being order, doing things, and they are more into the unambiguous activities. Whereas there are people who are of enterprising natures, who prefer verbal activities where there are opportunity to influence others as well as attain power. And then finally we have people with artistic nature. So here you can see different people have different traits, they have different type, they have different orientations. So based on their personality, based on their orientations, we have to understand what sort of work would be more well fitted with them, right? Like in our previous session we have discussed about basically the understanding of emotions and mood, right? So a person who is being associated with the nature, right? If a person is of artistic nature and if some kind of art activity is being given to that individual, then this person will always feel motivated, right? This person will feel always happy, because as per the nature of that individual, the assignment is being given. So based on this type of personality also, we are understanding what sort of occupation would be more suitable to them. Like if a person is of realistic nature, then if we could look at the personality characteristic of this person would be shy in nature, genuine, persistent, stable, as well as confirming and practical. So the kind of assignments where we can assign, the kind of jobs we can assign to them would be like of mechanics, where drill press operators would be able to work under the such kind of area. Assembly line workers comes under it, as well as farmer. So these people prefer physical activities, like we said, they are more of realistic nature. Okay, so such kind of assignment would be more suitable to them. Whereas people who have investigative personality, they are more into analytical thinking, right? They are very kind of a curious people who always try to figure out what is happening, right? So such kind of people are more towards the field of biologics, right? They could be good researchers also, they could be good mathematicians, right? They could be good in newspaper reporters also, okay? So such kind of personalities would be suiting these kind of jobs. Then like I said, social people who are very sociable, friendly, cooperative, as well as understanding. So they can get into the kind of assignments where social workers are involved, like they can be good teachers, they can be good counselor, right? And they can also be good psychologists, clinical psychologists, who can understand the feeling of other, and they are able to communicate with them better, right? So conventional people are more of confronting nature, they are efficient, they are also very practical people, they are unimaginative as well as inflexible. So the personality of job which is going to suit with them is more of accountant nature, right? Where they just have to do their work, they are not going to interact much with the people, right? They are supposed to do the regular routine kind of a work, where they could be bank teller also, where they can get the assignments of file clerk. So if these kind of personalities would be given such nature of work, then their job personality would be matching along, right? And people who are of enterprising nature would be more self-confident, right? They are more ambitious, energetic, they are more domineering, right? So for them, the lawyer kind of job would be better. They could be real estate agents also, they could have good public relations, they could be like small business managers also, because they have this enterprising skills in them, right? And lastly, we have artistic people who are imaginative, who are idealistic, emotional, as well as impractical. So they could be good painter, they could be good musicians, they could be good writer, right? So here, with the understanding of this, you will be able to understand how different personalities would be suitable to different assignments. If you see that if a person is of social nature, and we are giving them the kind of job where only they are supposed to do the work like accountant, or they would be capped on the assignments of doing some kind of file clerk, then this will not suit their personality, and very soon they will not find any interest doing such assignments, and doing so they will lose the interest in their assignments and might be not able to continue for a long. Okay, so from the manager's point of view, it is very important not only to make them work, rather we should be giving them the work as per the personality or their skills, what they are better doing in. Moving further, we have this organization fit, right? Person organization fit. How well this person is fitting with the organization. It's not only the job, it is also the organization. As we all know, we have different sort of organizations, different organizations have different values, they have different morals, right? They have different beliefs of doing work, right? So it is again very important for an individual to suit and match with this organization system, their beliefs as well as their value. If a person is not fitting well with the organization value system, then again there will be a problem of survival in that particular organization. You can understand people who are of extrovert nature, right, who are love communicating, who like to have more interaction with the outside world, then these kind of personalities are well suited with the organization, who have values of maintaining relationship as well as socialization, right. So it is again important for us to understand that the personality plays a very important role of an individual in understanding what kind of assignments need to be given to them and what sort of organization system will be more suitable for them to take up their assignments further. Then there are other dimension fits as well, right? It's not only the job and the organization, but definitely the other aspects also plays an important role, that is the group fit. As we all know, organization work needs not to be done in isolation. It is always a teamwork, right? We need to perform in the groups. So again, it is important for us to understand whether we are well fitted to that group or not, because if a person is not aligned with the group norms, if the person is not understanding the formation of the group, how this group is going to function, then there will be difficulty in achieving the goals, right? So it is important again to have the right fit with the group, and for that reason the manager has to ensure that right set of people are being aligned together. Because in the organization today we see diverse workforce are working together, people from different culture, people from different background, people from different religions are working together, who have different interests, who have different likes and dislikes, right? So again it becomes a challenging task from the management point of view, how to align all the individuals together in a group so that we can make them achieve the organizational goal together without any sort of conflict between them. Then again there is another fit which we called as person supervisor fit. As we all know, a leader, right, who is supervising a team needs to be aligned with the individuals whom working under them, right? So generally we also hear this kind of a statement where people leave their bosses, not their organization. So if a person is not well fitted with the supervisor under whom they are working, if their values, if their interest, if their approach is not similar, if their understanding is not matching, then again it becomes difficult for them to work together. So supervisor fit has become important area of in research, because if there is a poor fit in this dimension, it can lead to lower job satisfaction, and this this ultimately will going to affect in their performances. Okay, so all the aspects needs to be taken care of as per the individual's personality. We have to see that whether the person is fitting well, because and that is why we say that we need to select the right person at the right place. Right place means we are giving them the assignments which are according to their personality, and they would be able to take up those assignments in the correct manner. So that is need to be taken care from the manager's point of view. And finally, when we talk about the person's environment fit, that means if everything goes well, if a person's personality is well fitted with the organization, if they are well fitted with the assignments or the roles which are being given to them, they are well fitted with the group of people they need to work, and if their understanding is well with the supervisor, then when all the dimension fits, then it is generally being summarized as environmental fit. Now the most important part of this session, we are going to begin with what is personality. Since we have understood that different personalities have different way of understanding things, they have different behavior, they have different traits, but how does this personality frames, right? What is this personality all about? Now we will have a discussion in this particular aspect. So personality, you can say, is an individual differences which is different in their characteristics, in the pattern of their thinking, feeling as well as behaving. So individuals are different from three perspectives, that is they are different in their thinking. Different people thinks differently, they have different sort of opinions, they have different mindset, they have different feelings. Maybe sometimes in a given situation somebody is feeling happy and somebody might be feeling sad, right? And then their behavior would be different, because ultimately behavior is the outcome. The way you are thinking and the way you are feeling reflects your behavior. So different people have different behavior and different situations. In short, we can say that personality is the sum total of ways in which an individual react to and interact with others. So personality is something where we would be able to understand a person, how this person is going to interact, right? How this person is going to behave with people in the social interaction, that defines their personality. So if you look at the nature of personality, how this personality frames, what is the particular characteristics assigned to this personality, here you can say that personality has both the component. It is the internal as well as the external components which is going to create an impact in the personality. So, internal is basically the thoughts, the values and the inherent characteristics which we are having in our from the birth which we are going to innate. So, here you can see two parts of personality where we have divided it. The very first is innate, which is from the heredity, right, from the biological factor which we have taken up through the birth, and then the acquired things which we are taking with the social interaction from the environment. So, individual personality is being comprises of two particular things, that is internal and external. Internal includes the thoughts and values and the hereditary characteristics, whereas external refers to the extrovert or introvert tendencies which we are acquiring from the environment. And one important thing which we need to understand is that personality of an individual person is relatively stable. It is not that a personality of an individual keeps on changing, right. If a person is of having certain characteristics, have a certain values and belief system, that is going to be there with that person. It is very rare to see the changes in the individual personality, and if that happens, it happens because of some very traumatic situation which has brought a change in the personality of an individual, right. So, if change at all occurs, it occurs after a very long time, or maybe it is an experience of some traumatic experiences where it made a change in the personality of an individual. Now, let us understand the determinants of personalities. What are the different factors which affects and which forms the personality of an individual? So, here we have categorizes these determinants into 4 different aspects, where we have biological factors, family and social factors, cultural factors and situational factors. So, let us see how these factors will have an impact on shaping up the personality of an individual. So, the very first are the biological factor. As we have understood it, an individual personality is not only the things which they are getting from the environment, rather we should say the basic personality of an individual is through the biological factors, right. The basic genes or the traits which we are carrying from our parents, from our family, right, that is something which frames our personality. So, here we are going to understand these biological factors into 3 different parts. The very first is the hereditary, the brain as well as the physical feature. So, heredity is something which we get from the genes, like how are we going to look, our physical features, our facial expression, right, the temperament, right. We are getting our temperament, like why we are getting so much of anger, right. Some people are happy go round because this is somewhere in their genes. We are not making them learn how to be happy, how to become sad, right, how to be very aggressive. This is something which is in their blood, right. So, their muscular composition, some people are very thin, some people are very fatty. So, this is all in their genes, right. So, their reflexes, their energy level as well as their biological rhythms are all the things which you are getting from the heredity, and nobody has a control over these aspects, those factors which we are getting, and this is one of the important aspect which shapes up the personality of an individual. The another aspect which comes under it is called as the brain. As we all know, the brain of an individual has 2 parts, one is the right as well as the left. So, depending upon which part of the brain is more active, right, which part of your brain is more functioning is going to define the personality. Like we have seen in the very first slides, and we were talking about person job fit. So, person job fit is based on the based on the brain functioning of their personality, right. If they are more of more of artistic nature, as we can see, if a person's right part of the brain is more active, right, then this person is more creative, this person is more imaginative, right. They are more in general, they are intuitive, their intuitions are very, very strong. They are more into conceptual aspect, they see the bigger picture of the things, right. They are of heuristic nature, empathetic they are, right, figurative, they are irregular sort of people. So, you can see how many different sort of traits we can pick up from the aspect if the right portion of their brain is more and more active. Some people are being seen where their left side and the right side of the brain are equally active. So, they have different traits in their personality, whereas people where left side of the brain is more active, then these people are more analytical sort of people, where they are good in analyzing the things. They are more logical people. They just don't believe in any kind of things you are telling them. They need some logic. They have some analytical skills present in them. They are more precise in nature, right? They are of repetitive nature. They are more organized people. They are more systematic people, right? They want to get into the details of everything, which helps them to understand the situations and get the things very logically, right? They are more scientific in nature. They are kind of a detached people, right? They are very, very practical, right? They are, you know, sequential people. They believe in doing in a sequence, right? They don't do things randomly. So you can see the setup of the brain, the kind of functioning we are having in our mind is also going to have a considerable impact on the working of our, you know, personality. How are we going to think? How we are going to behave? Right. So considerable impact is going to be there depending upon which portion of our brain is more active and how we are working with it, right. And then finally, in the biological factors, we have the physical features also, right. So physical features, like we have discussed already, this is also something which we are getting from the heredity, right. How this person is going to be look, whether the person would be tall or short, fat or skinny, color may be black or white. So all these things are not in the control of any individual. These are the two aspects which we are getting from the heredity, that is brain and the physical features. Now moving further, the another aspect of the personality is your family as well as the social factor, right. So the family setup in which you have taken the birth creates a lot of impact in the formation of any individual's personality. So as we know that, you know, human is an social animal. So socialization process of an individual which we acquire from the very early ages of our, you know, birth, you can say, is going to have a wide impact on the personality of an individual. So here we have categorizes these family and social factors into three different aspects. The very first is the home environment, the family members as well as the social groups, okay. So the home environment, as we know, the, you know, parents are the first teachers who make us understand how we need to behave, how we are going to inculcate our values, how we are going to inculcate the belief system. So the home environment creates a lot of impact in shaping up the personality of an individual, and generally we say, and we talk about this earlier when the family setup were not in a nuclear form, right, where the joint family system were there, people were more polite and they were more of sharing nature, because this is what they were learning from their home environment. But in today's time, when we are into the nuclear family setup, where both the parents are working, we are having lesser siblings, so people are, you know, becoming difficult to handle. Even if a single child in the family, parents are finding it difficult to make them understand how to behave and how to understand the things. So the home environment plays a very, very important role, because nowadays the setup has been different. So we are seeing different you know, changes in the personalities of the individual as well. Then the family members definitely plays a very important role, because initially for a child, for a person, only the role models are the parents, right, or the people who lives in the family. They try to imitate them, they try to follow things whatever they are doing. So you know, by maybe even if they don't want, they are getting all such things in their mind, and they are affecting, it has been affecting in their personalities, and that is how they are going to be behave in future as well. So home environment and the family members have a considerable impact in shaping up the personality of any individual, because this is the first learning which they are going to get, and whatever they are whatever they are observing, whatever they are seeing there, that is inculcating in their subconscious mind, and somehow they would be reflecting the same thing in their personality as well. Another important aspect is the social group. Social group refers to the society in which we live, right? The people whom we are interacting, the education, you know, we go to schools, there we meet with our friends, we interact with our teachers, the environment, the setup there outside the home is called as social groups, right? Not only our family but our relatives, but our friends, right, are also going to have considerable impact on the formation of our personality. See, the more people you would be interacting and the better environment you would be in, then definitely your personality would be according to that. Now coming to the third important dimension of framing of the personality are the cultural factors. Definitely culture has lot of impact on shaping up the personality of an individual. So the culture or the religion which you belongs to, cultures are basically, you can say, cultures are the set of belief which are framed up by the group of people, right. So these are the values and predispositions which we have already created in the society for our understanding of the normal and the social rules and regulations to be considered what is right and what is wrong. So based on that culture in which we have lived, in which we are being brought up, is going to have a understanding, is going to have an impact in the understanding of our things, right, and that ultimately is going to have an effect on the personality. So unique characteristics of the social groups, the values and the norms which are being shared are going to have the consideration, and according to anthropologists concept, culture related to the sheer belief of attitude, possessions as well as attribute, custom and values which is going to define the group behavior. So culture defines your behavior, it helps you in understanding how the set of people should behave, right, what is acceptable in the society and what is not acceptable in the society. So accordingly we frame our understanding in our mind, and whatever the behavior we reflect, we try to reflect it accordingly, right. So it is also been said by Paul M. Hussein, each culture expects and train its member to behave in the way that are acceptable to the group, right. So we want people to behave in the manner which are being created by the group of society, what are their norms, what are their specific laid down rules, we need to work accordingly. If we are not working as per those systems, if we are not following those rules and regulations which are being framed by the personality, then our personality might not be acceptable in that particular system, right. So a market degree, a child cultural groups defines the range of experiences and the situation he is likely to encounter, and value and personality characteristics that will be reinforced and hence learned, right. So such kind of system is being reinforced again and again, and such system is being learned by the individuals living in that particular culture. Now finally come the situation. This is again very important. Situations have a considerable impact on the formation of an individual's personality. So if you look at the definition or the understanding given by Milgram, situational exerts an important press on the individual. Sometimes we are into a situation, right, and those situations, certain times they give you a press, like how you have to behave, how you have to react. Maybe in certain situation you must have seen people does not have that personality, but they behave very differently because the situation has given them that particular understanding, and they reacted and behave in that manner. So it exercise constraint and may provide you a push whether you should be behaving that way or not. So in certain circumstances it is not so much the kind of a person a man is as the kind of a situation in which he is placed that determines his action. So what we are trying to make you understand here is, based on the situation, sometimes person's behavior would be different, the person's personality might not be of that particular type, but those situations give them the push to behave in a certain manner, right. So it is been therefore said that a person's personality should not be studied in isolation, right. A considerable impact of the situation and the circumstances will also have implications on the personality of an individual. So to understand the individual personality, we have to go deep down in understanding their heredity, like what all aspects they have taken biologically, and then what kind of family system they had, their home environment, the social interaction, the people whom they are interacting with, their school friends, their teachers, their relatives, their friends will also have a considerable impact on their personality. Then cultural in which we are being brought up, and these situations. These are the 4 important determinants for shaping up an individual's personality. Now moving further, let us talk about personality frameworks. So here you know that in organization we have to be very specific in knowing the personality of an individual. How are we going to judge? How are we going to select the individual based on their different personality type? So in this regard, we are going to first talk about the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and then we will have our understanding on the Big 5 personality model. So let us talk about MBTI. MBTI is basically an instrument, right? So this is the instrument which is usually being used for measuring the personalities of an individual, so that we could be able to understand what sort of personality this individual is having and how are we going to place them, right? Because ultimately we have to ensure the person job fit, and person job fit can only happen once we are known to their personal characteristics about their personality, right? So Myers-Briggs type indicators is considering to be have 100 questions in this personality test. This is a personality test, you can say, right, which generally the organization takes up, where the set of questions are being given, and generally these questions ranges up to 100, where they have to select the choices as per the questions being asked, right, whether they are using, they are suiting with their personalities or not. So respondents are being classified into 4 different categories here in these questions, where 4 different set of regulations will be studied after these evaluation. So the very first is extrovert or introvert. These are the definitions, or these are the classification rather I should say, which are being made on the basis of this framework. So either the person would be extrovert or this person would be introvert. The second categorization is sensing or intuitive. This person is sensing or intuitive. Let me help you in understanding these characteristics in detail. So if a person is being characterized as an extrovert individual, then these people would be more outgoing and sociable as well as assertive. So certain questions would be asked to you, like whether you are social people or not, would you like to party, would you like to communicate more with people or not. So whatever the kind of answer you would be giving, right, if you like to party with people, if you like to interact people, if you are very sociable, then definitely you would be answering yes, right. If you are not liking all such things, then you would be answering no. So if you would be answering no, then your personality would be more of extrovert, right. But if you like to sit alone, if you don't like to communicate much with the people, you want to be with yourself, right. So those people would be of introvert nature, where they are quiet as well as they are shy. The second category is sensing versus intuitive. So people, those who are into sensing, they are more of practical and prefer routine as well as order, right. They are the kind of people who are more disciplined people, right. They follow certain kind of discipline, and they are very practical, right. They focus on the detail. They just don't get any kind of a solution or any kind of a conclusion. They just don't do on the basis of any intuition. Whereas people who are of intuitive nature rely on unconscious processes, right. They don't get into the logic. They just believe in kind of the intuitions they are having, and based on those intuition they make out their choices, right. So they look at the bigger picture rather than getting into the logical things. The another categorization is on the basis of thinking versus feeling. So thinking people are those who are more into reason and logic to handle problem. If there is any problem, any situation, then they get into the detailed understanding of those problem, and then only they would be coming out to any solution. Whereas the other people, other set of people are more into feeling. They give more preference to their values, their emotions, right, what they are feeling, rather than looking at the logical aspect of thing. They believe into understanding their personal values as well as emotion they are keeping for that particular aspect. And lastly, we have people which are being categorized into judging versus perceiving, right. So people who are into judging nature, they want control and they prefer order as well as structure, whereas people who are into perceiving, they are more flexible as well as more spontaneous. So these are the characterizations which are being given under this framework MBTI, where the different set of questions you would be asked, and based on the questions how you would be answering, the results will be given and your personality type would be explained. So it would be helpful for the managers to understand what kind of questions, what kind of answers you have given to those questions, and with the understanding of those things your personality could be judged. And once your personality would be judged, accordingly the assignments and the roles would be given to given to you, which are more suitable for you. Now coming to the another aspect where we are going to have the understanding on Big 5 personality model. So again, this is very important, and based on this big 5 personality model, the personalities are being categorized into 5 types. So now let us have an understanding what are these 5 types. The very first is known as conscientiousness. So conscientiousness is the traits refers to someone who is more responsible, dependent, persistent and organized, right. So they are the people. See, we have continuum. You can say these all personality types have a continuum where we have high and where we have low, right. So if a person is more of conscientiousness, high conscientiousness if there, then this person would be more responsible, right. If any work you are being giving to these people, they would take up those responsibility very, those kind of assignments very responsibly, right. You need not have to remind them again. Whatever the deadlines you have given to them, they would be taking up those assignments within those particular day. They are more dependable, right. They are not seeking for any kind of dependence. They are persistent in their work, they are regular, they are consistent, they are organized people. Whereas people who have low in conscientiousness, you will see opposite of it. They are irresponsible people. They are very, you know, dependable. They are very, you know, they are not very dependable people. They are not regular in their work. They are unorganized set of people. Okay. So the continuum will define if that is high in nature or that is low in nature. So conscientiousness refers to an individual type. With the high conscientiousness, they are more of responsible nature. They are more dutiful people, right. Then we have emotional stability. Emotional stability is again the characteristics which define the calmness of an individual, whether these people are self-confident, they feel secure about themselves versus nervousness, anxious as well as insecure. So you can see people with having the high emotional stability who are positive in this particular aspect, they remain calm. They are self-confident as well as secure people, right. They do not have any kind of insecurity in them. Whereas those who are having low emotional stability, they would be more nervous, they would be more anxious as well as they are feeling insecure about their things, right. So it becomes difficult for the organization to make them understand, like whatever the work and assignments being given to them, whether they are feeling safe and secure in that particular thing or not. Then the another set of people are called as extroversion, right. So extroversion, again those who are having high extroversion, they are the people who are more sociable, right. They love being around people, they like to communicate people, they like social interactions, right. So they are more assertive in nature. Whereas people who have low in extroversion, they are of shy nature, right. They like to sit alone, they are not very sociable people. So this is how we are having these continuum defined based on these characteristics, whether it is high or low. Then another set is known as openness to experience. Openness to experience refer to whether the person is open for some new things or not, right. They are the people who believes in imagination, they are the kind of artistic people, sensitive people, they have curiosity, right. They love doing something new, they are not very regular or routine people, they like to have some kind of new things to be explored, right. People with high openness to experience. And opposite to that, the assignments which requires regular routine of work, where we don't want people to be more challenging, where they follow the regular routine work, then we can select people who are having low openness to experience. And lastly, we have this personality trait which we called as agreeableness. Again, the agreeableness refers to the person who are good in nature, who are cooperative and who are trusting people. These kind of people are very well suited functioning with the group because they are more helpful people, they are more cooperative, and these are the people whom you can trust. So we were discussing about the agreeableness trait, where we have to understand that somebody is good or having nature where they are cooperative and helpful, and they are more of the nature where we can trust with them. So people who are having high agreeableness trait in their personality, they are very good in working with the teams because they are helpful and cooperative with each other. And on the other hand, people who are having low agreeableness, then these people will find difficulty working with the team, they are more better working at individual level. So the personality model will help you in understanding about the different personalities of an individual, whether they are suitable for the assignments or not. Now we are going to have a detailed discussion of all these personalities, how they are going to be there in their assignments. So the very first is conscientiousness at work. So as I told you, the people who are having high conscientiousness, they are more of dependable nature, right? They are the people who are more responsible. So people with the high conscientiousness develop high level of jobs knowledge, and probably because high conscientious people learn more. So they are the people who could be taken up to the higher assignments, they are more knowledgeable, they are more dependable, they are more disciplined people, and since because they are more responsible, they are able to take up the assignments at the higher level very easily. These level corresponds to the higher level of job performance and the organization citizenship behavior. If we are having such set of people in the organization, their performance level would be better, they are good in the performances, and we always see that OCB behavior in their in their citizenship, right. So they are more aligned with the organization, they have more kind of a citizenship behavior because they take up the things very responsibly, and they are the people who do not get dissatisfaction in their jobs generally. So conscientiousness people are less likely to engage in counterproductive, they do not want themselves to be engaged in any kind of counter productive work which is going to create a bad impression towards the organization. And we can also say that conscientious people also engage in less unsafe behavior and tend to have fewer accidents than those who are less conscientious. So if you look at this type of understanding of this trait of a personality, we are more confined towards assigning such individuals the higher responsible job where they can take the ownership, where they feel more attached toward the organization, where they are more towards the performance of their activities, how they would be doing it, because people with the low conscientiousness will get into such kind of an understanding where they are feeling unsafe, or they get into this CWBs, that is the counterproductive work behavior is seen in the people who have low conscientiousness. So again it becomes very important from the manager's point of view to understand this part of their personality, how they are into it, whether it is high or low in such individuals, and accordingly such kind of assignments would be given to them. Next is emotional stability at work. As we have dealt already with a session which has talked a lot on the emotions and mood of an individuals, and we know that emotions plays a considerable impact on the working of any organization. So we need to understand how well this person is capable of managing their emotions, right. You are also being introduced with the understanding of the subject where we have talked about emotional intelligence, right. So the people who are emotionally more stable, they are maker of better decisions, right. They could be able to make out the better choices, right. So we need to understand how this kind of a continuum is going to work in the organization. So if you talk about emotionally stable people, they are more related to the life satisfaction as well as job satisfaction, because they know how to control their emotions, how to make them balance, right, how to draw meaningful aspects from their emotions, right. So they do not get dissatisfied easily, and they know how to handle the situations, how to manage their feelings at that particular point of time, right. So these people are those who generally don't get burned out and their intentions are not to quit, right. So people with the high emotional stability, they usually adapt to unexpected and changing demands in the workplace. They are always ready to show their behavior where if they want to show any kind of unexpected and changing demand they have to take up, they would be able to take up it very easily. Whereas on the spectrum where people are having less or low emotional stability, they may be unable to cope up with these demands, they feel stress, they feel anger, they feel anxiety, because they are not able to handle their emotions well in the organization. So ultimately the people or the kind of roles where such kind of unexpected and changing demands are being required, then we should be taking care while hiring that we need to look forward to have people with having high emotional stability. Then refers to an extroversion at work. We know again the two set of continuum here which are being defined organizations which are more into, you know, networking, right, who are into the social interaction with the outside work, are looking forward to have people with high extroversion, right. And generally the assignments where an accountant needs to be assigned, where a regular routine work needs to be given, then we can hire people with the low extroversion. So extrovert tends to able to better adapt to their career changes, right. They know how to handle the situations and how to you know, define their own careers in future as well. Extrovert experience generally higher satisfaction, and also they are reduced to the burnout. Reason being, they are more socializing people, they are more communicating, they are more into interaction, right. They build up the network where they interchange their feelings, they talk to the people about the things, right. So generally they are more satisfied people, they don't keep their things with themselves, right. So at a group as well as at the team level, extroversion is relatively a strong predictor of leadership and emergence and behaviors in the group. So such people will also be able to take up the assignments on a leadership position, and they would be able to manage and handle the team in a better way. So extrovert can appears to be dominating, and they are prone to risk taking as well, right. They are ready to take up the assignments, and which can be disadvantageous for a job that does not require frequent social interaction. So like I said, the nature of job will define what sort of a person is needed at what assignments, right. No person is you can say is not good or bad for the organization. It is all based on the requirement, it is all based on the you know, assignments which we are going to assign to them, right. So all sort of personalities we are having, as per the requirement of the job, we have to understand that. Openness to work is again the, you know, personality type where people needs to you know, have new things, new or challenging assignments they are ready to take up or not. So open people tend to be more creative as well as more innovative, and the organization where creativity and innovations needs to be done, then they are looking forward to have people who are open to work. So they are more likely to be efficient leader and more comfortable with ambiguity. While openness is not related to initial performance on the job, individual higher in openness are less susceptible to decline in performance over a longer period of time. So they are more of the kind of people where their performance will speak out, they would be doing their assignments better. So accordingly, organization has to ensure that what is the nature of work they would be having, and accordingly they would be taking up those assignments. And lastly, we have agreeableness at work. Like I said, people having high agreeableness, they are more of nature where they are helping people, they are of social nature, right, and they could be trusted upon, right. So they are better into the jobs which are interpersonally oriented, jobs such as customer care, right. So customer care as kind of a role requires people who are high in agreeableness, where they could be able to help the customer in understanding their problem and providing them the better solution. And here they experiences less family work conflict and are less susceptible to turnover. So such people, if they are more into agreeableness, generally such kind of people also have a balanced life, and they does not bring any kind of stress and anxiety to the organization, and definitely such people will also be staying long with the organization, their turnover rate will be lesser. So if you look back, an understanding of this big 5 personality model will make you understand how important the different traits of an individuals are, and every trait of an individual has different understanding, whether some people are high on it or some people are low on it, right. It is all on the basis of the jobs and the requirement we should be selecting such traits. Now, the another important aspect of this chapter or this session is the dark trait. So, the MBTI model and this big 5 personality model had made you understand about the different set of people we are having and what different characteristics they are having, whereas a constellation of negative personality trait is also there, right. We have different set of people who are being categorized into this category, and that is why we consider them under this dark trait, where we have Machiavellianism, narcissism and psychopathy, right. So these are the different you know, personality types also which we need to understand, and such peoples are also working and functioning in the organization. Now let us understand their personality and how do they behave in the organization. So very first in it is the Machiavellianism, right. So Machiavellianism is a sort of a personality of an individual in the organization who are more of pragmatic nature. They are very, very practical people, right. They have this, understanding where they keep the distance from the people, right. They don't get themselves involved with any of the individual, right. They are very practical people and they believe means they and justify their means. So with this saying you can understand what sort of a personality such people are having. I do whatever I have to do to get ahead, right. They are that set of people where they will do anything to keep their positions, or they are striving for any sort of position, right. So such peoples are there in the organization who basically are very, very practical, and whatever the work they are doing, they make sure that the management or the people at the top level would be able to understand what is their work, right. They are very good at showcasing their work, right, because their ultimate objective is to make themselves appear, make their presence as compared to their team. So high max manipulates also, they are the good manipulators also, right, and they are more of negative sort of person from the personality point of view, but from the organizational point of view these people are very good because ultimately they are working for the betterment of the organization. No doubt they want to keep themselves ahead of others. That is one thing which is there in their personality. Such people are creating a negative sort of feeling or environment also sometimes, but they will always try to make sure that the organization assignments are being done, and they could be able to take up those credit of all those assignments on themselves, right. So such kind of personalities would be considered under Machiavellianism. Another set of personality are called as narcissism. Narcissism is basically the tendency to be arrogant. Such people are very, very arrogant and have got nice sense of self-importance. They feel themselves very, very important. They require excessive administration, right. They possess sense of entitlement. Okay, so any position and power which is being given to them, they are very adamant to that position. They behave very arrogantly with the people, right, because they always feel that they are higher in the ladder and they have that kind of an authority with them which they can use on the people. So narcissists often have fantasies of grand success also. They also want to be at the top, and they have the tendency to exploit the situation. Sometimes they are often having the understanding where they change the situation as per their benefit, as per their interest. They mold these situations, and sense of entitlement, and they basically lack of empathy. They don't have that particular aspect of keeping empathy and sympathy for anybody. Whatever they do, they feel that they are right and they want to manipulate things as per their understanding of the situation. Narcissists commonly think they are overqualified for their position, and they are the managers. These kind of managers are even selective about their relationship they form with their subordinates. They are very practical, like I said, arrogant also. They do not have that kind of a good relationship with the people in the organization, and often prioritize those who give positive and non-critical feedback, right. So these are the traits which we also see in the organization, in the people, and if such traits are there in the leader, then definitely they will not be able to make out a good leadership position. And lastly, we have psychopath in this category. The tendency for the lack of concern for others. So these are the people who do not care about others. They also have lack of sympathy and empathy, and lack of guilt or remorse when action caused harm, right. They are the set of people again who do not feel guilty. They are the one who have created the situation, and if somebody get harms into it, they do not find any kind of a fault which they have done. Measure of psychopath attempt to assess the motivation to comply with the social norms impulsively, willingness to use decide to obtain the desired end, and disregard, that is lack of empathetic concern for others, right. So personalities are of different type, like we have seen, and the dark traits of the personalities are also being seen in the organization, where people are over asserting their power, right, not keeping any kind of emotional attachment to the people, very, very practical, and always thinking of themselves, where they are giving themselves self importance. So, all these personalities are being considered here like this, like where we have talked about Machiavellianism, we have talked about narcissism and psychopath. Now, if you look at the big 5 trait model, where we have discussed about its relevance and how does it affects, which we have discussed already, but this is a kind of a chart which make you a given understanding that people who are having emotional stability, they are less negative thinkers, and they are less hyper vigilant. So, this kind of things lead to higher job and life satisfaction, which also helps in reducing their stress level. Whereas extroversion are the people who are better in communication, who have greater self dominance, and this helps in leading to the high performance and enhanced leadership. So, this is all we have already discussed. This is just a chart which is giving you an understanding of big 5 trait personality model at a glance. Now, moving further, we have few other attributes relevant to the OB. The very first is core self evaluation. So, core self evaluations refer to the individuals who are having this understanding where they are able to evaluate their own self, their own personality, in understanding how they could be better in controlling and dealing with the situations in the organization. So, people with having the core self evaluations are the better people, they are the better judge of their own situation, and they could be able to make out the better choices in the organization. Then we have self monitoring people as well, right. So, this is again a very important aspect of any individual. A person who is into self monitoring requires less supervision, and they are the people who could be able to take up their assignments in a better way as compared to the people who are having less self monitoring, because they are the people who are being assigned to the task, and this task need not to be monitored because they are doing it themselves very sincerely and responsibly. Then we have proactive personalities also. Proactive personalities are requires in today's time, where people are not being told, right, what to do and what not to do. They are very, very active in seeking out their assignments, whether you have been told to them or not, but they are very proactive in their approaches. They themselves identify the opportunity, they show their initiatives, and they automatically take the actions on it, right. They are the more of people who are very, very self you can say independent people, right. So, cognitive level of these peoples are very high. Now, coming to the summary of this session, we have understood here about the personalities of an individual and how an individual personality needs to be best fit with the job, best fit with the organization, best fit with the group of people, and it needs to be best fitted with the organization, and eventually we call it all together as an environmental fit, right. So, all these could be done understanding the different sort of personalities of an individual. For this session, we have talked about what personality refers to, how an individual personality frames, and what kind of aspects needs to be taken care in the organization while selecting the people, understanding the requirements of the job. Now, if you talk about the implication for managers, for sure, as in manager, you need to evaluate the jobs first, you need to understand the work groups, and then you have to understand the different sort of personality. You have to consider screening job candidates for the personality traits that are more relevant. As a manager, you have to make a personality framework, right, where you would be taking out the help of MBTI model and big 5 personality traits model, which will help you in ensuring the right set of people would be chosen to take up those right assignments. And these are the references for the sessions for which this session has been taken. I hope all of you have understood the concepts which we have discussed today. Thank you all of you.